Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. Thanks for coming to this presentation. I want to introduce myself. My name is Nur Azizah, NIM 2002311000153. I am from Study Program Development Economic C, Trunojoyo, Madura University. This video was made to fulfill the UTS assignment of Economics English Practice with a teaching lecturer Miss Kodrina Lailin Amrullah MPD. Before I share my presentation, I will ask question. Do you know about export-import? If you do not know, let me explain to you in this occasion. In this presentation, I am going to discuss Indonesian export and import amid the COVID-19 pandemic. The purpose of my presentation is to find out about export-import. Where are export-import activities? How is the condition of Indonesians export and import in the midst of a pandemic? And government policy. First, these are photos of container loading and unloading activities at Tanjung Priok Port, North Jakarta, Friday, 50 May 2020. Let me talk about what is export-import. So, export is activity of sales, goods, and service originate from within the country to abroad. Meanwhile, import is activity of buys goods or service from abroad in the country for resale. Export and import is international trade activity. And Indonesia is a country that relies on export and import activities as a source of state revenue. Next, where are export-import activity? Export and import activity occurs because there are differences in natural resources, climate, geography, demographies, economic structure, and social structure between one country and another, which results in different quality and quantity of product, resulting in the exchange of goods and services between countries. And export activities are carried out with the aim that goods and service products are not only limited to sold domestically but can be sold in other countries with the aim of obtain more profit. Next, Indonesian export and import conditions in the midst of a pandemic. The development of Indonesian export and import continues of deteriorate amid the COVID-19 pandemic. My export in May 2020 were recorded to continue to decline with a rate of 13.40% month-to-month and 28.95% year-on-year. Meanwhile, import fell again in the range of 32.65% month-on-month and 42.20% year-on-year. Next, January 2020, export were recorded at $13.63 billion Place increased in February until March to $14 billion. Then fell again in April to $12.16 billion and continued to worsen in May 2020 to $10.53 billion. Meanwhile, imports in January 2020 were recorded at $14.27 billion. This figure decreased slightly in March 2020 to $13.35 billion. In April 2020, the figure continued to decline at $12.54 billion and $8.44 billion in May 2020. Because of this achievement, a surplus of $2.09 billion in May 2020 is not encouraging news. Suharyanto even reminded him to be careful with his attitude because it is a vaccine for the second quarter economic growth and Indonesia's industrial performance. Next, Institute for Development of Economics and Financial Research Abdul Manaf explained that this trend shows that exports and imports are slowing down. Even though some countries have opened their activities, their demand has not increased. The latest number of export commodities, such as corn, palm oil, and coal, experienced a decline. BPS noted that in May 2020, export of the vegetable oil and mineral fuels fell respectively by $199.7 billion and $225 billion month-to-month. This factor Manaf essentials that there is potential from overseas industries to still have stocks after activities have stopped. The second factor is that economic activity in destination countries is still low both in production and consumption. At the import side, the situation is not very good. Manaf essentials that the continued decline is import indicators that domestic industrial activity is at a low level. Those are the last four non-fiscal stimulus policies. First, simplification and reduction of export bans and restrictions. These policies aim to improve the smooth running of export and the competitiveness of domestic exporters. Second, simplification and reduction of import ban and restriction aim to improve the smooth running of raw material import activities and also competitiveness. Third, export, import, process acceleration for reputable traders. This aim to provide additional incentives for reputable companies. For creating a national logistic ecosystem. The national logistic ecosystem is a single platform that integrates the government service platform with the business world, namely government to government and also business to business. So that is all about my presentation. In conclusion, export and import in Indonesia has decreased and affect the country's economy. Thank you for your attention. See you next time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.